Hey everyone, this is Mike, Real Life Counseling. So today we're going to talk a little bit about logotherapy. It's part of the kind of existential, what's the purpose and meaning of life theories of counseling. And it's based on Viktor Frankl's ideas. It's considered the third Viennese school from, in terms of psychotherapy and psychoanalysis, the first being Freud. And the second being Adler, and Viktor Frankl is considered the third school to come out of Vienna, the ideas coming out of the city of Vienna. And his view was that people have a will or a drive to meaning, a will to find meaning, a drive to find meaning. And so that is the main purpose of logotherapy, to help people find that meaning. Freud had his will to pleasure. He felt the pleasures were the driving forces, and Adler had his will to power, and Frankl had his will to meaning. Now, what he believed is that the problems that we have is a lack of meaning. Stress, anxiety, depression, all of these things in our life come from a lack of meaning in our lives, that we don't feel we have a purpose or a reason for being here. And that can cause not just surface level anxiety, depression, sadness, loneliness, but at a very deep level, because Frankl believed that meaning in life is the core of what it means to be a human being, to having some purpose, some meaning. You can't get deeper than that. And if that's lacking, you're going to be suffering terribly, because the very reason for your being here, the very core of our lives, some meaning, some contribution, some legacy that we can leave, is missing. And how can anyone be truly satisfied and happy if that's missing from their life? So these are there's a couple of techniques that he uses that can be used really in every therapy practice. You don't have to necessarily follow logotherapy. You can incorporate logotherapy into pretty much any psychological theory or eclectic practice that you engage in. But again, the focus is just on finding some meaning in your life. You can focus exclusively on logotherapy, finding meaning and purpose, and that will alleviate a lot of the anxieties and stresses and depression, sadness and loneliness and boredom that you have in your life. But you don't have to. You can be brought into any theory. So there's a couple of techniques. One is paradoxical intention. And that basically means that, it's paradox. So if a person's having anxiety, you might ask them to see if they can jack up the anxiety, see if they can really, really get super, super anxious. Very rarely people can. They can't do it on command. But you kind of use these ironic, if you're feeling stress, see if you can be more stressful. You use almost a humorous approach to dealing with the problems. Usually it very often will take the sting out of it, or it'll show people how absurd their thoughts really are, or how exaggerated. And so that can be a very powerful technique, this using paradox. Many therapies use these kind of paradoxical techniques, but that's one of the techniques that logotherapy uses. And then another technique is de-reflection, and that's kind of just changing your focus from what's going wrong to what's going right. Changing, not just focusing on what you don't have, but what you do have. Not focusing on what you're missing, but what you do enjoy right now. And spending more time thinking about that, and not dwelling and ruminating and this constant reflection on the negative and the bad and what you're missing and what you don't have, rather than appreciating and looking to things that you do have or that you can have, or maybe that you want to have, that's within your ability, within your range, within your reach, and focusing on those things, because those are more achievable, and those are more within your power, especially in the immediate sense. Longer-term goals may take more time, but in the short term, you have the ability to reach those things that are more within your field and your frame of your life. And the last one is just an attitudinal change, as opposed to a cognitive or behavioral change. Yes, you can change your thoughts, and yes, you can change your behaviors, and those can be very helpful. But the whole idea is that maybe you just change your entire attitude. And basically, what this means is, if someone has an accident or they're sick, and maybe they're laid up for a couple of months. Now, the normal view would be, oh, this is really a horrible situation to be in. I can't do this. I can't do that. Well, maybe it can be the opportunity to catch up on things that you let go. Your attitude is, you know what, I'm going to reach out to family and friends that I haven't spoken. I've been so obsessed with my career. I get to spend more time with my kids at home. If you have kids, maybe I can catch up on all that reading that I want to do. If maybe it gives you a chance to really think about the meaning of your life. I was going in this direction. I thought this meant everything to me. And you know what? It doesn't. So just changing your attitude about what's happening to you can give you a really different perspective. So this is basically logotherapy. Obviously, like all the theories I've discussed, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more detail and nuance that goes into it. But broadly speaking, it's a great way of approaching life, whether you use it on its own as a logotherapy technique and you see a logotherapist, or one that incorporates this into their own practice and bringing the search for meaning into their practice. If you have any questions, please comment. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to subscribe, please do. And if you want any comments, please hit that bell so you know when the next video is coming out. I'm going to try to make these more like once a week. I've been a little sporadic in getting these videos out. I'm going to try to have it maybe once a week, give or take. I'm probably going to have my next one, though, in a day or two. And then starting from next week, trying to space them out about once a week, maybe twice a week. All right, so I'll see you next time. Thanks.